Hello everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am doing another collab for a mini stamp set with Scrapbena Creations again. We are selecting the Sunny Studios See You Soon stamp here. It's so cute. And we are doing this because we want to encourage everyone to use what you have as well as pull out those mini stamp sets that you just couldn't live without. And let's get to making a bunch of cards. So I'm going to make 5 cards. And Jen is going to make 5 cards. So between us, you have 10 cards with this one little itty bitty stamp set. So the first thing I'm doing here is taking some Canson XL watercolor cardstock, and I'm going to stamp this out with Versafine Clair Nocturne ink. That is a very friendly ink when you're watercoloring, but I'm going to heat emboss it anyway with clear embossing powder, just so that I can make it a little bit easier to stay within the lines. I'm going to heat set that, and then we're going to be good to go. So when you're picking a small stamp set to make multiple cards with, it really is best if it has more than one image in it. It just makes your creative process a lot easier. Not that you can't make multiple cards with a stamp set with one image. You can, for sure. There's so many different ideas that you can do. But we just thought this was a really fun one because it's still a mini, but it gives us a little bit more to play with. So for this, I am using Arteza TwiMarkers. They are a felt tip watercolor marker. So I am opting today to scribble them on my little clear plastic sheet here. That clear sheet is a Dollar Tree cutting mat. They come 2 to a pack, and they're huge. They're like 11 by 9 or something like that. And I cut them down and then rounded the corners. And here I have this little mobile piece that I could take with me. So I scribbled my markers on there, and then I'm just going to pick it up with a water brush and drop it in. To me, this was really, really fun to do. It's very easy. You don't have to think about it much. When you wet the image first and then drop the color in, you can kind of see that spreading look that you get, which just kind of is fun to watch the watercolor do its own thing. So that's why I chose to color up my images this way. And off screen, I colored the majority of them. I just kept a little bit of that coloring in here for the video. I'm going to go back to darken up some of those shadow areas, as well as the shark's belly. That shark looks really happy. Super funny. I love these little images here. So once I did that, I fussy cut all my images out, and now I have a bunch of these cute little images here. And I colored them up pretty much all the same way. Different colors, but the same technique. Okay, so I have my images ready to go, and now I'm going to start making my backgrounds. This is a sheet of masking paper that I use. It's the rock, paper, scissors removable sticker label paper, and I cut it down into A2 sizes so that I can easily mask projects for my cards. So I cut out an oval into it, and I'm going to place this down to use as my mask or stencil. I guess it depends on which way you're looking at it. This is probably the stencil. So I am going to lay that down. Then I'm going to take my blending brush, and that's just a makeup brush I picked up from Amazon, but I can use the same one. It cleans off really nicely, and I just use it for all different colors. So I'm going to get this really beautiful color theme here. It's going to be the darker blue on the bottom, then it's Mermaid Lagoon in the center, and then I believe it's Salty Ocean. No, Tumbled Glass on the top. So yeah, so then I'm going to take in my stencil here. Now this is from Lawn Fawn. It's a wave die, and so I just cut that out of some vellum. I made a little bit of some waves with some white pigment ink, and then I spritzed it with shimmer spray. So as I'm pulling off my mask, I thought, uh-oh, did I go outside the lines? But I didn't actually. It was just a tiny bit of mask just kind of left over, so I just swiped that off. Okay, so here is my center focal point image here. I'm going to start putting my card together, and I'm going to heat set some of those bubbles that are in the set. And I do that with clear embossing powder so that I can see when I add my glossy accent, or my Nouveau Glaze. That's what I add. But here I'm going to put together my card with using some score tape instead of liquid adhesive because I had a little bit of warping, stamping out See You Soon, and then I'm going to put down my images with some Barely Art glue. After that, I take my Nouveau glaze and I'm going to add dots where the bubbles were. So you don't need to put the bubbles first. You can just eyeball where you think bubbles should go. It's not a necessary step. But I added that Nouveau glaze and it added just some extra fun texture to the card. So that's card number 1. Okay, moving into card number 2, which was a super clean and simple card. I took that wave stencil and I just put a little bit of blue just to show there's a wave. And I'm going to take an Exacto knife here, and this is one of the retractable ones. And I am going to just cut along the wave of one of those. When I do that, I get it big enough just to put my little shark through, put the fin in there, and he's just going to be coming up out of the water. So I was going to add or put some glue behind his body, but I decided not to because I kind of like that he's coming out of the paper. And so I just affixed him through the back with the glue. And I'm going to pop this up using foam tape, so then I'm going to put more foam tape on the top of his fin so it'll reinforce it some more. So I stamped it on the front. You saw I put "See You Soon" on the front. I get this covered with some Arteza foam tape, and I'm going to put it right on my card panel in the front. So I'm using 120-pound card bases from Accent Opaque, super affordable cardstock and really sturdy. And I love the way my cards feel at the end. They feel really just professional, and yeah, so I love that cardstock. I forgot his mouth, so I added some alcohol marker. Just be careful if you use alcohol markers with Versafine Clair, it could bleed. And that is my clean and simple card. I'm very proud of that because I struggle with clean and simple. Okay, let's move on to the next card out of the clean and simple era. And we're going to get nice and inky for this one. I'm going to make this look like it is inside the ocean floor. And so I'm going to start with a little bit of sand colored distress ink at the bottom, darkest on the bottom, which is Vintage Photo and Antique Linen for the lighter color. And then I'm going to start bringing in my ocean blue colors. You want to make sure you clean off your mat in between so you don't cross-contaminate. I did, again, use the same brush, though, for all of the colors. So you can see how easily that cleans off because I'm not getting any of that brown color up into the blues. Okay, so I'm also using Bristol Smooth cardstock, which makes the blending process very, very easy. I'm also getting fingerprints all over my card, so be careful with that, or cover your fingers somehow, some way. You can use Post-it notes or paper. Just try to avoid some of that. Once that's done, I'm going to take a brown marker and just add dots all over the sand for a little bit of texture, and also onto my little octopus, so that it looks just kind of, just a little textured and just for fun. All right, next thing I'm going to do here is I tried to make rays from the sky, and I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but I used the white ink like I did for the first card's waves. It didn't come out very well, but that's okay. I'll have to try that again. Using shimmer spray, I'm going to pick that up, and I have all this beautiful shimmer and dots all over. It looks like you're underwater, so that was so much fun. And then I'm just going to glue them down and put it down onto my card base. So this was very, very fun. I love the way this came out. This was inspired by a Pinterest card, and I'm so sorry, I don't recall who made one similar to this, but it wasn't the same stamp set, but it was the ocean floor, kind of the sand at the bottom. And that will do it for that card. So we're going to move into the next card, which this piece right here is an old piece that I had laying around in my stash in my scraps. And it is from a window die, I believe, but I had it already colored up in ocean colors, so I decided to make a fish tank. And so I'm making the lines on the side to look like they are the sides of the fish tank. I used the same die to cut out a piece of acetate, as you can see there, but I'm going to go back to this piece right here, and I'm going to cut just the center of the top off. That's why I like a paper trimmer like this Fiskars one, just to keep on hand in case I want to do techniques like that. And now you can see it looks like the water is, the fish tank is kind of cut off at the bottom, so you can see. Now this one, it has a shark jumping out of the fish tank. By the way, none of this is to scale, okay? Because if it was, I guess that would have to be a gigantic fish and a baby shark. So, not to scale, but we're having fun. I'm going to take some mirror cardstock and do the exact same thing. I cut it out with the die, and then I'm going to cut those side pieces off because, again, this is a fish tank, so I want to make it look like it's a fish tank. And so I'm going to make the sides metal. I'm using score tape in the 1/8 size, and I'm just going to put down the sides, first my acetate, then I'm going to go over it again. And I'm going to put down my metallic sides to make this look like a realistic fish tank. I'm not having any sharks in my house. In fact, no pets at all. Not a fish, not a hamster. I want no pets. I have too much to try to keep alive in my life right now. I leave the plants to my husband, and I just do my best with the kids. So that's it. I'm tapped out. Okay, on this one, I'm going to move on my card base. I'm going to put some of these little flashes, not flashes, they're not flashes, they're splashes of water. And we're just going to put some foam tape on the back of this fish tank here and lay it down. So that was fun. That was a little extra. We interrupt this show because the fire alarm's going off. AD is cooking alone. Be right back. Okay, I am back, unharmed. Everything is safe. We burnt the bacon, though. Bacon did not make it. All right, everything's fine. Whew, gotta come down off that adrenaline rush. All right, so let's move on to the last card in this video. So I'm going to keep this one simple. I had this background done for probably years, and I am just pulling it out and adding this cute little fishy on the shark's nose and calling it a day, putting better together on there because I think it's funny. Like, I'm not quite sure that this fish is going to make it. I don't know, but maybe they'll be one with each other. For all of you who have seen Finding Nemo, this reminds me of the shark in Finding Nemo when he is giving up fish. Anyway, okay, so I'm just going to put that down with some Barely Art glue, and we're going to back this onto the card panel. So here are all of my cards today for this super fun collab. It's got me in the summer mood. Thanks so much for tuning in and for catching it. Don't forget to go to Jenn's channel and catch her 5 because you will not be disappointed. She gave me a sneak peek of one and it's amazing. Okay, thanks so much for joining me. I will put everything in the description box below, all the supplies that I used. On the screen, you'll see a couple videos that might be of interest to you as well. And then don't forget to connect with me outside of YouTube. There's other social media platforms that we can connect on, and I will have that linked below in the Linktree link. That's where you can find all of my other platforms as well as affiliate links. Thanks so much. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.